Hello, candidates, and welcome. It's always a pleasure to appear before this forum to solve problems involving the financial markets. In our today's session, we are going to revise one question that was tested in November 2019 from the Financial Markets Law paper that is done by certified secretaries. In our last session, we answered question number 1 of November 2019. So today we will answer question number 2, which part A of the question reads, contrast between the role of an underwriter and that of a stockbroker for marks. Contrast between the role of an underwriter and that of a stockbroker for marks. Part 2 of the same question reads, in the regulations issued by Capital Markets Authority applicable to raising of capital in the securities market, exceptions have been granted to certain issuers from full compliance with provisions of the regulations. State 4 circumstances under which a public issue of securities might be treated as a private offer for marks. For marks. The first bit, A1. Contrast the role of an underwriter and that of a stockbroker. Candidates, an underwriter is a person who gives assurance to the issuer of securities to the effect that the former or the underwriter would subscribe to the securities being offered in the event of non-subscription by the public. So in other words, underwriting is a contract by means of which a person gives an assurance to the issuer to the effect that the former would subscribe. The former here is the underwriter. The underwriter would subscribe to the securities being offered in the event of non-subscription by the public. Candidates, the issuer is a company that offers securities to the public. Okay? Then we have the underwriter. This underwriter enters into a contract to this issuer to the effect that in the event that the members of the public fail to subscribe to this issue, then this underwriter promises to subscribe to the securities being offered. Okay? And a stockbroker, because the question is distinguish between a stockbroker and an underwriter. A stockbroker, on the other hand, is a person who carries on the business of buying or selling of securities as an agent for investors in turn for commission. All right? A stockbroker is an agent who stands between the issuer and the investor or the buyer The one who buys shares is the investor. So in between the issuer and the investor, we have the broker. The issuer issues stocks to the public, to the investors. So the broker stands in between. The broker could be a company or an individual. The broker, as the name suggests, is an agent who buys and sells securities. Buys and sells securities. May buy from one investor and sell to another investor. All right? In return for a commission. The underwriter, I've said, is a person who gives assurance to the issuer that he would buy the shares if they are not bought by the members of the public. And the person who gives the assurance is what we are calling the underwriter. This underwriter stands as a backup. He stands up as a backup supporter and provides insurance against inadequate subscription. And the underwriter also charges commission for their services. So, candidates, we can distinguish the underwriter from the stockbroker by just defining. I've given you one difference, because the question is contrast. We've given you one difference between these two persons. Okay? So candidates, an underwriter carries on the business of buying, selling, dealing, trading, okay, or retailing securities as a principal. That means on their own behalf. Stockbroker, on the other hand, is a market professional. Stockbrokers are market professionals who buy and sell securities on behalf of clients at the stock exchange. Okay, a stockbroker is an agent. So that is another distinction. The third distinction is that under underwriting, the specific job is to gather surplus funds from individuals and institutions and make these funds available. That is the specific job of an underwriter. On the other hand, the specific job of a stockbroker is to buy, to handle or sell orders for the principal and earn commission as soon as he buys or sells at the best possible price. That's the third distinction. The fourth distinction is that the underwriter acts as a principal in that he first purchases the securities either alone or in conjunction with the group of associates, and then he resells to investors. A stockbroker, on the other hand, assumes the responsibility of just transferring the principal's shares from one name to another. Okay? So those are four distinctions between the role of underwriter and that one of a stockbroker. That is part A, 4 marks. Then part A, Roman 2, in the regulations issued by Capital Markets Authority applicable to the raising of capital in the securities market, exceptions have been granted to certain issuers from full compliance with the provisions of the regulations required. State for circumstances under which a public issue of securities might be treated as a private offer. 4 marks. 4 marks. The question is circumstances under which a public issue might be treated as a private offer. The first circumstance is where the securities are issued to not more than 100 persons. Not more than 100 persons. Where securities offered, where the securities are offered to not more than 100 persons, then that public issue will be treated as a private offer. The second circumstance, number 2, is where the securities are offered to members of a club or association. Where securities are offered to the members of a club or association, whether or not incorporated. And the members can reasonably be regarded as having a common interest with each other and with the club or with the association in the affairs of the club or the affairs of the association, and in what is to be done with the proceeds of the proceeds of the securities, or the proceeds of the offer offered to members of a club or association. That is the second circumstance which a public issue might be treated as a private offer. The third circumstance, number 3, is where the offer is restricted to a circle of persons. Where the securities are offered to a restricted circle of persons whom the offeror reasonably believes to be sufficiently knowledgeable to understand the risks involved in accepting the offer. Then the fourth circumstance, number 4, is where the securities are of a private company. Where the securities are offered, where the securities offered are of a private company, and the securities are offered to members or employees of the company, or to members of the families of any such members or employees, or securities are offered to a restricted group within the purview of that private company. These are 4 circumstances. Let's move on to answer part B, which says, in the International Organization of Securities Commission, IOSCO, Objectives and Principles of Securities Regulation, The principles are founded on 3 objectives focusing on investor protection, fairness, efficiency and transparency in the securities market, and reduction of systematic risk. Discuss 3 ways in which the Capital Markets Authority in your country has implemented these objectives as a member of IOSCO. 6 marks. Okay? Ways in which CMA, this is B. We want to discuss ways in which CMA has implemented the objectives of IOSCO. Candidates, I'm going to discuss these ways under the following points. The first one is integrity. Integrity. The next point is investor protection. Investor protection. The third point is number 3, efficiency. Efficiency and transparency. Then number 4, fairness. Fairness. Candidates, the Capital Markets Authority has embraced integrity as a core value, and the authority is committed to acting at all times with honesty, with fairness, with accountability, with transparency. It has also acted ethically and above board in all its operations. That is one way in which CMA has implemented the objectives of IOSCO and principles of securities regulations. Okay? Then investor protection, this is a second way in which CMA has implemented these objectives, is investor protection. Candidates, in order to enhance investor protection, the Securities Exchange and the Capital Markets Authority are jointly proposing the establishment of a recovery board at the exchange, on which securities of an issuer who is technically insolvent or non-compliant with any other listing objectives or listing obligations, or whose operations are being conducted in a manner that is prejudicial to the interest of investors or market integrity, can temporarily be listed. And this is how companies, and this is how, this is to allow companies to develop and implement recovery plans so as to ensure full compliance with the requisite listing obligations. So that is one way in which CMA has implemented the objectives of IOSCO. There is ongoing recommendations that is from 2019. The Nairobi Stock Exchange, jointly with the Capital Markets Authority, in discussions to establish a recovery board at the Nairobi Stock Exchange, whereby the securities of an issuer who could be technically insolvent or is non-compliant, okay, or who conducts his operations in a prejudicial manner, can be delisted from the market, but temporarily. Okay, that is the second way. The third way is in relation to efficiency and transparency. The CMA has enhanced efficiency and transparency through improving platforms for market access, for trading, for clearing, for settlement, for effective monitoring and supervision of the capital market operations, and enhancement of professional standards, the conduct and consumer protection in delivery of capital market services. Then lastly, we have fairness. Fairness. The Capital Markets Authority has enhanced fairness by treating colleagues, treating stakeholders and clients equally. There is no bias when it comes to treatment of colleagues, stakeholders, and even clients at the in the market. So these are ways in which the Capital Markets Authority has implemented the objectives of IOSCO in accordance with the objectives and principles of securities regulations. We've seen the principles are founded on 3 objectives focusing on investor protection, fairness, efficiency and transparency, and the reduction of systematic risk. How many marks? 6 marks. Then the second part, the other part of the question reads, you have been appointed as the leader of a task force created by the Foundation for Financial Market Sector in a foreign country. Required as the head of the task force, analyze 3 regulators that might be required in the country. 3 regulators. This is we take my pen here, my black pen. Okay, we are answering part. This is the ways in which CMA. Okay, that is B. We are answering C. 3 regulators. This was an easy one. This was an easy question. 3 regulators that may be required in the financial market sector candidates. Surely that one is a straightforward question. The Capital Markets Authority should be the first one. We have the Capital Markets Authority. We have the central bank. Central bank. Number 2, Capital Markets Authority. We have, there has to be number 3, Securities Exchange. Securities Exchange. Then we can add the Minister of Finance, or the Cabinet Secretary, or the Minister in charge of National Treasury. Minister in charge of finance. These are important regulators in any financial, in any financial market sector. Any financial market sector, these are important regulators. Candidates who are expected to just name. Okay, 3. This would earn how many marks? 6 marks. 1, 2, 3, 6 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is again 6 marks. The examiner required candidates to do what? To discuss 3. So any 3, 6 marks. Any 3, 6 marks. Part B, discuss 3 ways. 3 ways. 1, 2, 3, 4. I gave 4. Any 3 out of these 4, how many marks? 6 marks. So 6 plus 6 plus 6, that is 1218. Then part A, what was it? Part A, 4 marks, total 20 marks. So you have 6, 6, 4. This is supposed to be 4. State 4 circumstances. This is 4 marks. 1 circumstance, 1 mark, 4 marks. Then the contrast between the role of underwriter and that of a stockbroker, 4 marks. Four plus 6 plus 6, 20 marks. Thank you for your attention. In our next session, we will answer question number 3, November 2019 Financial Markets Law. God bless you and see you then.